Morning, everybody. How wonderful it is to be back here in my own spiritual family again. Woo! Love it. I have to say, though, there was not one day when you were not close in mind and close in heart. And I was wishing for you what I was experiencing myself. And maybe somehow or another, some of that got through. But always great and always grand and always good to come home. You have to go away to come back home to truly, again, re-appreciate everything. So here we are together on this amazing day, which is a day of days, and it is a day that we stand tall in and we look into and we see. And we're not afraid to look and see the great pain, the great sorrow, the great sadness that arose out of that terrible tragedy. And somehow or another feel that although we all have been changed, there has been a change for the better. And how can that be, we might ask? How can that be, a change for the better in such tragic circumstances and a result of them? Well, wouldn't it be beautiful and great and grand to know and to feel and to experience that because of that, that you and I and so many of us have indeed become deeply more compassionate in a global way, that you and I and many more of us have become aware that we are one family, one global family, one people, and that we all belong to each other, like it or not. And with the awareness of that comes the responsibility of understanding that as long as one of us is without, as long as one of us is not having their needs met, their human rights met, etc., then none of us can rest easy. And wouldn't you and I really love to be fully under our own organization's endeavor and vision to create and support a world that works for every single one in it? Because if this is the case, we have been changed, and we have been changed for the better. And we understand, too, that, it's not about only what has happened in the past, what has gone before. Our lives are always about what is going to happen and what is coming next. What is coming next? And that can be good, bad, or indifferent, depending upon what is happening in your life and mine right now, because we grow our tomorrows out of today. So the challenge of today is, where am I right now? Am I still in the pining, in the sorrow, in the sadness, in the grieving of things past? Or am I open to the healing that's available to me every day so that I can create a future that is not only better for me, because if it's better for me, it's going to be better for everybody, because my energy affects everybody. And those are the questions. And it's interesting, too, that for the month of September, our organization is focusing on world service, service to the world. And this particular week, we're asked to enter into a meaningful way of supporting that vision, into a meaningful way of understanding that we are part of one people, that we are a global community, and to find for ourselves and from our own hearts how we might support that. And this is highly challenging. But of course, to get to that sense and sensibility of understanding that we can grow more compassionately and that we can understand that we're one family and that we can indeed get behind and under supporting a world that works for all, it's not going to happen unless we understand one basic fundamental principle. And I mean, it's been going around for a long time. And it's the golden rule. Do unto others that you would have others do unto you, or do not do unto others what you would not like to have done unto yourself. A very, very long time ago, long ago in Old Testament times, the great Rabbi Hillel was asked, is it possible that you think that you could present the teaching of the Torah standing on one leg? Strange that he should be asked that. But without batting an eyelid, he just stood on one leg. And he said, yes, of course. Don't do unto others what you wouldn't have others do unto you. The rest is commentary. So that's where we are with that. Now, that golden rule will not apply in your life and mine unless we become global lovers. Lovers of the world unite. You know, we just got to get into that zone, into that energy, or nothing will change as radically as we need it to change right now. Right now. And you and I can bring about that. No ifs, ands, buts, and doubts about that. We can, through our own changes. But what do we mean by becoming a lover? And what is this thing, love, anyway? Oh my gosh, you know, we're always delving into the meaning of love and what love is, and we never can pin it down, really. That's one horse you can never really saddle and ride. One gets thrown off it a lot, I can tell you that. I know from trying and endeavoring myself. But we're talking about love not as the world knows it, not as the world sees it. We're not talking about egocentric love that is totally based in self-interest. Totally based in self-interest. Egocentric love that is attracted to someone or something that can serve it well, that can meet its needs, that can help it to be happy, that can come into agreement with it and always approve of it and all of that. Human love is so full of attachment and ownership and control and manipulation, and it's very subtle sometimes, but nevertheless all of that is going on. Because it's the ego endeavoring to have its needs met by means of something or someone outside of itself, and that's impossible, so it never succeeds. And I mean, it can be okay for a while, and then it goes to hell in a handbasket, and then it's okay for a while, and it goes to hell in a handbasket. It's okay for a while, it goes to hell in a handbasket, and there you are, you're like this all the time with it. And so love is saying, yes, I love you, of course I love you, as long as I approve of you. I love you, of course I love you, as long as you're pleasing unto me. I love you as long as you're in agreement with me. I love you as long as you don't annoy me, upset me, interfere with me in any way. I love you. And then when that's happened, I dish out the love to you and you feel good. But as soon as I detect any disapproval, as soon as I detect any disagreement, as soon as I detect anything that's causing me not to be so happy, I withdraw that love and it's not there for you and you can go whatever. And by Jiminy Crickets, it's not coming back to you until you start measuring up and get it straight. Because don't you understand that you're mine? You're mine. You're my spouse. You're my mother. You're my father. You're my sister. You're my brother. You're my child. You're mine. And so it has this sense of my way or the highway. If you don't like it, lump it. This is who I am. This is what I am. And so that's all the machinations of the game of human love. And it's not funny, really. It really is not funny, although it's opera. It's opera. It's soap opera at its best. So we have to bring another element to that, because love, as we know love to be on a spiritual awareness and understanding and level, is pure. It's unconditioned and unconditional, and it has nothing to do with attachment. Indeed, it is detachment personified. It is freely given. Love, it's a flow, it's an energy that's always flowing out from us and through us and never ends. It's continuous and constant flow, and it flows to everything and everyone, the good and bad alike. It never changes. It's always there as a blessing for everything and everyone. That's pure unconditioned and unconditional divine love. And of course, we are on the path of divine love, all of us in this room. And that's our endeavor. But we have to ask ourselves, now, how wide is the gap between where I am now and where I want to be? How wide is the gap between who I think I am now and what I've always thought I could be? How wide is that gap? Is it getting wider or is it narrowing, you know? And it's always good to know there's time, plenty of time, to be the person I always thought I would be. Because when some people are getting on in what they call age, they are disappointed with themselves more and more because they haven't become the person they wanted to become. They haven't achieved what they want to have achieved. They're not where they think they should be by now. And why we would think that, we would only think that because we're comparing ourselves to everybody else. And look at where they are and where I'm not, kind of thing. So today we're going to ask ourselves, do we really understand that the opportunity of life is always here and now? The possibility of life is always here and now. And that in order for me to be open and receptive to it, I have to leave what's gone alone. I have to leave what's ahead alone right now. And I have to hone in on where I am right here and right now. And stand tall and look into it. Doesn't matter how awful and aborted and bad I might be right now. I have to stand tall. I have to look into it and say, well, this is a pretty picture, isn't it? Well, I don't have to continue in that lifestyle, in that energy, in that way of thinking, in that way of feeling, in that way of being, in that way of doing. I can change that. I really can. Because remember again, it's never about what has been or what is to come. It's always about what is here and what is now. So I have to look at myself in the present and see it as a present. I have to be unafraid to open up the present and to seize that wonderful opportunity. The message today is carpe diem. Seize the day. Seize the moment. Because the day that we are looking for, we call something else, and that's why we never find it. We call it tomorrow. We call it down the road. We call it the future. We call it, well, not yet. We call it, I'm not ready yet. And whatever it is, we call it. But the truth is, it's here, it's now. It's staring you straight in the face. It's saying to you, here I am in my full possibility. Seize the opportunity. Take it. Open it up. Open that bloomin' clam and let the light of the pearl shine. And stop hiding your light in the clam. How many of us are clammed up at the moment? Maybe some of us open a bit and then we clam up again. Clam up again. And that's how we are. My goodness, no wonder we're tired all the time. It takes an awful lot of energy to keep doing this. It really, really does. So seize the day. You and I are here for a great and noble purpose. You and I are here to be the expression of life gloriously, splendidly, and magnificently. No less than that. That's why we are here. It's a beautiful grace to go away and just be constantly and continuously in the now moment with nothing else in mind. Just here, present, now, especially when you're in beautiful places. Oh my goodness me. And then what a shock it is to come back and have to think, oh, I have to worry about the future now, and I have to worry about what has happened in the past while I was in the present. What happened in the past, and while I was in the present, what's coming up in the future. I have to start worrying about all of this political stuff and God knows what not else that never entered my mind for a whole month. I'm not going to do it, though. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to worry about it. Hey, it is what it is. Now, here's the thing about the global approach. Here's the thing about the global approach. There's going to be no global approach from you or me until we get the local approach right. My global view will be affected by my local experience. So, to support a world that works for everyone, I have to start doing that right where I am, in the circumstances I am, in the experiences I am experiencing now, under my own roof, God help me, and in my workplace, and on the freeways, and wherever I find myself in any moment, with whomever. That's where the global view begins. There's no difference really, because when I am handling my local situation well, I'm affecting the global situation in a great good way, you see. It doesn't mean that I have to join up with the Peace Corps and go off to some country and help there and suffer and sacrifice and so on to be of use to the world in general. It doesn't mean that at all, although some of us will be called to do that. It means get a grip on yourself right here and right now where you are. September is a beautiful month. For me, it's always been the beginning of the academic year, a beginning, a whole new start, a whole new approach, a whole new sense and sensibility, a whole new cycle in nature, fall coming in, autumn, where I come from, fall coming in, change occurring, cycling into a change, coming out of one thing, going into another, happy to do that, supporting the process. So this could be the day when you give yourself a wild chance. You take a wild chance. You decide on a new direction. You decide on some stunning change in your life that could cause you to be brighter and lighter and healthier and happier and all the great good stuff and things that you could experience because of that. The beginning is yours always, and the beginning is yours as always now and today. The beginning is a great good thing, and let me tell you, there's far greater risk in not beginning than in beginning. There's a far greater risk in not seizing the day, in not being available to the opportunities that are yours right here and right now. And you do not have to get stronger for this to happen. You're as strong as ever you're going to be. You're as strong now in any sense of weakness or ailment or whatever as you would be if you were feeling on top of the world. The strength is in you already. You have it now. So there aren't any excuses for any one of us in this room. It's up to each and every one of us to do a job on ourselves. It's up to each and every one of us to turn the minds around, to shake the feelings up and let some out that don't belong, that don't help and don't serve. To have a new vision, a new perception, a new way of seeing, a new way of perceiving, a new way of feeling, a new way of doing, and a new way of being. It's all possible right here and right now. You don't have to wait for anything to happen or anyone to come into your life, because nobody's coming who can do that for you. Nobody's coming. When are we going to get that? I say it often. No one's coming. Nothing's going to come to you from out there. It's all in here. This here has to come up through you and out from you. Open the clam and see the light. Open the clam and keep the clam open. Take the pearl out and use it in blessing, in health, and in well-being. Make it that symbol of who and what you are. You're already polished, you know. There's no more polishing to do, except thinking makes it so. God help us all and save us from our thinking. God help us all and save us from our thinking. It's so poor and miserable compared to what we could be thinking, what we could be imagining, what we could be visioning, and then our feeling would be all fluffed up and lovely, because our feeling follows our thinking. God help our poor feelings. Because those poor feelings are, oh, here she goes again. We're not in for a good day today. I can see that. No partying today, girls, boys. It's not going to happen. Oh, she's in the doldrums again. Fasten your seatbelts. You see. And then the body goes, ouch. It's an ouchy day today. I don't like the way that thinking and feeling is going. Be prepared. Put your helmets on, cells. Put your helmets on. You see. And then everybody around us gets the benefit of our lack of luster as we move through our day, dragging our derrieres, looking like vinegar instead of blood was flowing through our veins. Not a pretty sight, but that's a choice that you and I don't have to make. My dear ones, it is now the time. For God's sakes, when are we going to wake up and seize the day? Carpe diem, we read it, we see it everywhere. We say, oh yeah, carpe diem, what a neat idea. Yeah, well, all right. So, shake ourselves up is the call today. Be who you are now. Be where you want to be now. And know it all begins in mind. Remember, there's nothing stronger than the grace that's given to you that is within you. You're not going to find anything better out there, I can assure you of that. It's all here, ready, available, waiting to be accessed, waiting to be released, waiting to be revealed by means of each and every one of us. So let's make a difference today. Let us be in that moment now of opportunity when we do seize the opportunity, when we do meet the good that's here standing right in front of us and embrace it and say yes to it, as we open our minds and our hearts and our souls, knowing that we can and are here to make the difference, make the contribution, help to support a world that works for everyone because we can. You are the one the world is waiting for. You've heard me say it before. I'm going to keep saying it until we all get it. You are the one the world is depending on, relying on, waiting for you to wake up and be all that you can be, so that we are well on our way into supporting and creating and bringing about a world that is working for everyone. You have the grace. You have the power. You are the one. Carpe diem. And so it is.